Morning, everyone. My name's Wayne, and I'm going to just do a little talk on love, which is my personal favourite subject. So that's good. And I just want to ask: so, who in the room would like to be as happy as possible? Awesome. And who in the room would like to feel as much love as possible? Brilliant. That's great news. And if anyone in the room answered no to either of those two questions, I would definitely be a good person to speak to after the event. So, what is love? And more importantly, what is unconditional love, which is what we're going to be talking about? And how does love affect our lives? And how important is love to our happiness? And how do we know if we're feeling loved? And how do we know if we're not feeling loved? So I think we all categorically know that love is one of the most important things on the planet. It's the most searched for word on Google. Pretty much every single film now that we watch has a love storyline. Even if it's about blowing people up, there's always a love theme in the films that we watch. 95% of the music that we listen to on mainstream music is about love, lack of love, wanting a partner back, not being able to be with someone, breaking up with someone. I think we really work hard to find a romantic partner in order that we can feel more loved, and in our minds we reason then we can be happy. So what is unconditional love? So I define unconditional love as caring about the happiness of another person without wanting anything back for ourselves. And I think, to be honest, most of us have got the first bit nailed. I think most of us genuinely can care about the happiness of somebody else. Where we really get stuck is the second part, without wanting anything back for ourselves. You see, because if we do want something back for ourselves, it's actually not unconditional love. It's conditional love. And in actual fact, conditional love actually has no value when it comes to being happy, when it comes to feeling peaceful, and when it comes to having fulfilling relationships. 99% of the love in our current society is actually conditional love. I will love you as long as you do X, Y, Z that pleases me. But as soon as you stop pleasing me and you don't do the things that I want, then I won't love you anymore. Or at least I'll love you a lot less. So how does conditional love affect our lives in the present moment right now? I want to take you back to your childhood for a moment, and I want you to think about when you got good grades and you were well behaved, did your homework on time, generally did everything that your parents wanted. And I want you to think about the tone that you were met with. And for most of us, that would have been a loving tone, a pat on the back, and we would have felt good about that. And I now want you to think about what happens when you're not getting good grades at school, when you're inconvenient, when you're doing things that your parents don't like, when you're playing up. And I want you to think about the response that you get from your parents in those scenarios. I want you to imagine that you're 8 years old and You're playing outside with your friends and it's raining and you're in the field and you're having a great time. You're rolling around in the mud, jumping in all the puddles, and you're really enjoying yourself. And the time comes that it's time to go home. So you're all excited. You run home to tell your parents about what an amazing day you've had rolling around in the mud. And you don't know this, but your parents have just had a brand new carpet fitted today. The fitter's just left as you get back. And you storm in through the door, run all over the brand new carpet and mud everywhere. And I want you to think about what your parents' reaction would be to that scenario. Now, our parents don't mean to hurt us. They really don't. But in that moment where they get angry, irritated, upset, or react negatively to any situation, in that moment, what they're saying is that actually we don't care about you right now. We care more about our carpet. And what they're actually teaching is this terrible message. When you're good and you do things that we like, we love you. When you do things that we don't like or that don't please us, then we don't love you. Or we love you a lot less. And this message is reinforced in most people's childhoods over and over and over again, seemingly insignificant, each one. But it just reinforces that message. We don't care about you in this moment. We don't care about you in this moment. So what we learn from this is we learn that we have to earn our parents' love by doing things that they like. And we have to avoid making mistakes and doing things that our parents deem to be wrong. So just a little bit on earning love. So I'm yet to meet somebody that believes it's possible to love somebody that you've only just met without knowing anything about them. And this kind of makes sense if we're earning love, doesn't it? Because by the very definition that you would have to know someone in order for them to make a good impression, in order that you would love them. That's the very definition of conditional love. Avoiding making mistakes. Again, most people that I meet are absolutely terrified of making mistakes. And the reason that people are terrified to make mistakes is because we've been conditioned to believe that making mistakes is bad and that it's something that needs to be condemned. And what we then do is we actually make it mean that if we make a mistake, we must be a bad person. And then we continue to condemn ourselves. So what does all this actually mean? What it means is that actually most of us feel afraid and unloved. And the shocking truth is that because the majority of people in the world feel this way, it actually goes pretty much unnoticed. This is actually the norm now, to be afraid. So how do we know if we don't feel unconditionally loved? So when we don't feel unconditionally loved, what we do is we seek out ways to make ourselves feel better in the moment. And what we call this imitation love. Have you ever said things to yourself like, oh, I just can't wait to get to the end of the week to have a beer? Or, oh God, I just need a holiday. or when I lose a few pounds, that'll be all right then. It's just got to get that promotion at work, get the new house. Then it'll be all right then. Everything will be all right once I get there. So imitation love. So imitation love can be split up into 4 categories: praise, power, pleasure, and safety. So praise. So in the absence of feeling unconditionally loved, it feels pretty damn good to have people say nice things to us, and we'll go to massive lengths. The beauty industry and the fashion industry make millions and millions of pounds out of our need for praise. Also, we can just get someone to say, God, you're looking good today. But how long does that last before we need some more praise? What about power? So power is anything that we do to get a sense of power. So that could be using anger to get somebody to do something that we want them to do. Or we could be the boss at work and we could use power to control people. I guess anything really where you get a sense of power or superiority over somebody else. That's power. Praise is anything that we use to make ourselves feel better or to distract ourselves from how we feel. So common things that are used for pleasure would be drinking, smoking, drugs, partying, sex, driving fast cars, earning lots of money, and holidays. So anything we use to distract ourselves or to get a better feeling in the moment. And safety is anything we do to protect ourselves. So we might avoid difficult situations or avoid making that difficult phone call. We might marry someone that's really wealthy and secure within their job, so we can then get a sense of safety from that. And I just want to be 100% clear on these things, that I'm not saying that it's bad to do these things. So some of these things, I'm not saying it's bad to go on holiday. I'm not saying it's bad, for you to have a nice car. What I am saying is that anything that we're using in order to get a better feeling in the absence of unconditional love, that's damaging. And you see, the problem with imitation love is it doesn't last. It wears off. So we have to keep getting the hits. We have to keep doing the things in order to remain happy. So, and the reason that imitation love keeps us unhappy is because you need to keep doing the imitation love in order to preserve your happiness. And without having the imitation love, you would be less happy. So this is actually not true happiness, and it's not peaceful. It also keeps you afraid, because while you're distracted with the imitation love, you never actually really get to heal your wounds and the things that are keeping you afraid. So you actually numb out all the pain and all the fear with imitation love. And it also keeps you afraid of losing the imitation love. So when I used to go to the gym, I was terrified of having a day off because I needed the gym to be happy. I needed to look good to be happy. So I had prepared an exercise for you to do. We're not going to have time now because I talk a lot, so we're running way over. So I'm just going to hand these handouts out. All my contact details are on there, so if you want to get hold of me or you've got any questions or anything, all the details are on there. But I'm just going to hand them out. I'm just going to move swiftly on so we can get to the end of the presentation. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying here is that the only way to truly feel happy and peaceful is if you feel totally unconditionally loved. See, when you feel loved, you actually feel like you've got everything you need, and you don't actually need anything else to be happy. Anything else is just a bonus. So then the question becomes, how do you feel unconditionally loved? What we want more than anything else in the world is to feel accepted for who we really are, for the real us. We want to know that if we're making mistakes, if we're doing bad things, if we're cheeky, if we're selfish, if we're doing anything that's not good for us or other people around us, we just want to know that we're accepted. We just want to know that we're loved. The trouble is that most of us don't ever share who we really are. We're too afraid to share who we really are because we don't want to get rejected and we don't want to get hurt. We know how that feels, and we reason that if we share who we really are and someone doesn't accept us, that's going to hurt and it's going to make us less happy. So we don't share. So then what we do is we show people that we're doing really well, that we've got our shit together, that we know what we're doing. See, the ultimate irony about this is the very things that we're doing in order to feel loved are the very things that are preventing us from feeling loved. Furthermore, when we're getting any of the imitation loves, the temporary benefits actually give us the illusion of happiness. And this actually prevents us then from doing what we need to do to eliminate our pain and fear. So the process for feeling loved. Step one, what we first need to do is we need to tell the truth about who we really are. So that's all the bad stuff, our selfishness, flaws, fears, all of that stuff, our mistakes, when we've been wrong. We share all that stuff with someone, and that gives the other person the opportunity to see who we really are, the real us. And when they see the real us, then that gives them the opportunity to accept the real us. And in feeling accepted for who we are, we then get to feel loved unconditionally. Now, it is important when we practice this that we actually find people that already are in a position that they can offer unconditional love. People that can demonstrate that they can accept you. The way to find these people is practice telling small truths with different people and see who can't accept you. And the people that can accept you, tell them more truths. You could even set up your own little group where you get together once a week, and it's a non-judgmental group where you all just come to learn to tell the truth about yourselves, and you all learn to accept each other for who you are. If you do want to learn any more about what we've chatted about, I actually run my own real love group where people come and just are already actively telling the truth about themselves and feeling more loved. And there's people in the group that are able to offer unconditional love. So that runs on a Monday between 7:30 and 9:30 every week at my house. The details are on the contact form. And if you would like to have a chat with me about anything, or you want to run through those questions that I've put on the handouts, or you want to find out more about what I do, best thing to do is to add me on Facebook and then send me a personal message. There's lots of free content as well on Facebook, and also there's a link to my website on there. But yeah, it's been really, really grateful that I've had an opportunity to share a little bit about love with you today. I hope that's been helpful, and I look forward to connecting with you all in the future. All right, thank you.